So this is what I was talking about here. This one here, yeah, they have a bunch of scaffolding all over the place, and obviously this is a fall hazard. And people, they listen. People take risk all the time, and it's you're putting your health and your safety on the line here. All right, so workers obviously could fall climbing up. Ladders and lifts must be provided. You have to speak up for yourself on the job site. Here's another one. I mean, this gentleman, if he slips, he's going to be falling. He's going to be falling. It's over 6 feet. And over 6 feet is far way to fall. All right, you'd be surprised how many people really get hurt on ladders, just like a step stool. All right, this one here is just a fall hazard. It's kind of hard to see the picture. It looks like the gentleman is standing on the edge. So
It's basically in the roof.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, this once again, this is incidentally, this PowerPoint is from OSHA. I got this from OSHA's website. So yeah, this is unprotected, right? It's unprotected. It's well over 6 feet off the ground. Guardrail systems, safety net systems, or a personal fall arrest system should be in place. This one here, wow. Let's just hope they made it home for dinner, right? Yeah, they're really up there high. They don't look like they have any type of harness whatsoever. Yeah, that's very troubling. All right, so they're installing a metal roof without fall protection. Could be
What's
yeah.
considered fall protection like forklifts?
What's that?
What's considered like fall protection like forklifts?
What's considered fall protection? Okay, so they have personal fall arrest systems that yet literally it's strapped around your whole body. I don't know if you saw in the last video, the one gentleman had a personal fall arrest system on. It's strapped around your whole body, and then it's roped off so that even if you lost balance and you fell, you're going to hang. You're just going to like go a couple.
Oh, you harness. Okay, it's like a harness, basically.
Right.
Okay.
Now, on some sites, of course, they put up nets below. All right, in case somebody would fall. But yeah, that's what personal fall arrest system is. Here, looks like this is the floor. They do have a guardrail up. They do have a guardrail, but they're missing a toe board. See, right here is supposed to be a board. And the reason for that is because if somebody was walking along and they happened to weren't watching where they were walking and they kicked a pair of pliers, the pliers could easily fly off the side of the building. And if they hit someone, if they hit someone below, it could really cause some serious injury, right? All right, let's look at the next one. The next one. Well, it doesn't even ask us if there's a fall hazard. It says, can you identify the fall hazard? Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like, well, obviously there's no guardrails here, right?
There's holes in the board.
Right? Lack of fall protection. Plank appears to be overloaded and there is no safe access for workers. The workers are exposed to a 35-foot hazard from the scaffold while stacking blocks. Yeah. So once again, you're just taking your life in your own hands. Can you identify the fall hazard here? Well, they don't have anybody in the picture, just have a picture of a ladder. But
there's no rail right there.
Yeah, the ladder's not, if you're going to be working on above there, the ladder's not high enough. It has to extend 3 feet above the working surface. Yeah, like you heard in the last video, the one thing you don't want to be doing is on the top or the rung right below it. You really can get seriously hurt. And you're going to see a video on that. I'm going to show you a video on it that actually shows you some people getting hurt. Like, look at this gentleman. Oh my. He is standing on the top rung. If he loses his balance, he could be out of work for over a year, if not the rest of his life, right? He's working off of the top of a step ladder. Yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
Here, this fella, wow. Well, yeah, he's got no personal fall arrest system on. There's no note. I mean, there's no net, right? Um, wow, there's a lot of hazards here. Even the guy on the ground, they're saying could get struck. He could get struck. You got to realize if this fella up here drops a tool,
Hmm.
um, this fella here is in trouble, right? Because if it bounces off the side of the building and hit him, you know, what happens is and you all know this that 99% of close calls, people do not get injured, but when they do get injured, it's awfully seriously. Here, any fall hazard, yeah, I'd say so, right? There's no guardrail at all, right? Exposed to fall hazard due to unprotected side edge. This fella here, well, he doesn't have a personal fall arrest system on. He did rig up a rope um, to help himself, just in case, maybe. But that's not sufficient. All right. So he's working on an 8 to 12 pitch roof with only the lifeline tied to his waist as fall protection. Employer must provide full body harnesses. So when it says 8 to 12 pitch roof, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, this is a pretty steep roof right here. So when it says 8 to 12, it's always rise over run. So for every 8 feet, it's going to come out 12 feet. So that's pretty steep. It's a steep roof that he's on. If he could easily fall if he lost his balance. Is there a fall hazard here? Yeah, you
No
know,
real.
he's over 10 feet, right? Over 10 feet. All right, so we're done with that one there. Okay, so now I'm going to share. I'm going to share with you a video. Um, I'm going to share here a video of falls, right? People falling. Now, um, this one here, of course, it says at the top, possibly funny. So, yeah, you might chuckle at times, but you have to realize, okay, so the real point of me showing you this is that you understand just how dangerous it is. And we don't even know, none of us will know the follow-up injuries that these individuals had from falling off of a ladder, right? But I just want to point out to you just real quick that I'm not going to get into safety, all the different regulations with ladders. But I want you to know, you should know that there's a 4 to 1. There's something called a 4 to 1 rule. And the 4 to 1 rule is for every 4 feet of height of a ladder, the base of the ladder should be 1 foot away from the wall. So let's pretend you have a 40-foot ladder. If you have a 40-foot ladder, then the ladder needs to be 10 feet away from the base of the wall. But the other thing I want to talk to you about, I just want to talk to you about basic ladder safety, and that is this. A ladder should always be on solid footing. It needs to be on firm footing. It can't, you don't want to put a ladder on gravel because it could start to slide, right? So it has to be on firm footing. The other thing about a ladder is they refer to a 3-point system. Now, what is a 3-point system? Incidentally, mountain climbers, they adhere to what's called a 3-point system. And what a 3-point system is this. You have 2 legs and you have 2 feet, right? At all times, 3 of them are making contact. 3 of them are making contact with the ladder. So you're either holding on with 2 hands and going down with 1 foot, or you got 2 feet on, you're holding on with 1 hand, you're going down with the other hand, right? So you're going to see in this case here, you're going to see some of these individuals that they obviously don't follow these rules, right? So this first one here is actually happened on live TV. It happened on live TV, and this guy's going to show. He's actually trying to sell the ladder. Here we go.
Kind of giving us a look at how to use the ladder there. I got to tell you something. I have this ladder. It is awesome. Oh, now what? Everybody wants this ladder. I live in an apartment with vaulted ceilings. Uh-oh.
Dang.
All right, so I don't know if you guys noticed. He's coming down the ladder, and he still has the duster up in his hand, and obviously he did not occupy the 3-point system.
Okay, we're gonna make sure that Chris is okay.
Say you have you have to get up on the wall, high ceiling, ball,
Right.
ceiling. Hey, listen, just walk right up. And I tell you, it's very safe, it's durable, and it's lightweight.
Scaring me.
Oh, really?
Whoa!
Now it's locked in place. Okay. So really.
Oh God, Harold, are you okay?
All right, so hopefully Harold was all right, right? Once again, this is on live TV. Now, oftentimes what happens in construction, it just happens in life, is complacency will set in, and you'll think the ladder was locked, and but I don't think it was the case with this guy. I don't think he understood how to use the ladder. He probably should have tried it out before he did it, but.
Actually, I didn't have it locked.
All right, this one's interesting. This one here, look at this. There's a guy below holding the ladder up. He's holding it up, but unfortunately, this gentleman just dropped the chandelier right on top of him. Remember what I said about sound footing?
Those are firefighters.
Yeah, they're
Correct.
firefighters. Unfortunately, it looks like there's ice on the ground, doesn't it? It looks like the whole driveway is ice. Once again, wasn't on sound footing.
But if they're a firefighter fighting fire, do you think they have time to measure?
Okay, no. They're not measuring here. No, there was no measuring. Look, I'm saying that the ladder is sitting on ice. I'm not saying, I see your point, like as far as how many feet you are away, no. But because it's not on sound footing, because right here the ladder is on ice, there's not much friction with ice, as we all know, because we've all fallen on it, right? So in this situation here, this fella here, I think, should have had somebody else hold the ladder at a minimum, but unfortunately he didn't. So here we go. This person here, look at this. They're carrying something down in one hand. Look, if you're carrying something down in one hand, you can't be utilizing the 3-point system.
Ouch.
Yeah, no, I know. Some of them. Listen, at least he sits back up. He
Ouch.
sits back up. Hopefully he was okay. Now this guy here, look at this. He's got a picnic bench. It looks like he's got a piece of wood on top of it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
anything.
it looks like a recipe for disaster.
My God.
All right, I'm going to stop it here for a second. So listen. We've all done things. We've all done things what he's just done, right? We've all done something. But what I want to point out to you is that I have a brother that's an emergency room physician, and he won't even step on a step stool. He tells me, you have no idea how many people they come in with broken backs and everything else because they were like on a 3-foot ladder. They weren't like up 30, 40 feet. They were close to the ground. You can get seriously hurt even on something that's not that high. Now, this guy here, the guy that's climbing the ladder, I think he expects the guy down the bottom to be holding the ladder. But it looks like he's got his hands in his pocket.
Now he want to hold it. That's crazy.
He made it worse by grabbing it at the end.
He just gonna pull it and move back. Like,
That's crazy.
it seems like they all just slide back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you look at this? they have a ladder on top of all these, like, it looks like folding chairs. Once again, it
What are
looks
they
like a
doing?
disaster.
Yeah.
This looks like it's at a Home Depot.
Uh-oh.
Crews were battling a warehouse fire in Pompano Beach this morning. Cell phone video capturing, look at that terrifying moment when one of the firefighters fell 20 feet from that ladder.
Now look, this gentleman here, he knows there's something wrong with the ladder. The ladder is bending. He looks hesitant to go up.
Is it wood or something?
He's scared.
Yeah, it's wood.
Oh, no.
He asked for that because you could clearly tell it was going to break.
It didn't even
Why he
fall.
fell
He
in the
just
pool?
slipped. The bull was trying to climb up after he got out the pool and he slipped on the ladder and
Yeah.
he fell.
That's a bad John.
This
You're
McDonald's.
talking about the pool ladder, the little pool ladders?
No, like it was an actual ladder, but they was like using the ladder to go on the roof and they were wet, so he slipped off of the ladder because he just
Hey,
got out of
guys.
the pool.
You gotta make sure you dry off.
Do you guys remember what I was saying about sound footing? This floor, it's not going to be, it's
Polished.
not good enough,
Yeah,
right?
got
It
a
looks
lot
like
of
it's polished. It looks like it's slippery when wet.
Mhm.
Right. Wet floor signs.
At least the people helped him right away.
Okay. All right. Very good. Now, I do want to show you one more thing. The other thing I want to talk to you about, I'm going to show you really. I'm going to show you a video. It's on a tool. It's on a hacksaw. Okay. So a hacksaw is a tool. It's not a power tool. It's a hand tool, and it's used by many of the trades. Many of the trades use it. It's not just used by one or two. Plumbers use them a lot. Electricians use them. So once again, I'm going to pull one up. I just have to type it back in here real quick.
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right.
An hacksaw is a very inexpensive way of cutting metal. You can cut most metals using an hacksaw. You can also cut plastic with them and wood, but you don't really want to use them on wood because there are better saws available for cutting wood. If this is the only saw you've got and you need to cut a piece of wood, as a last resort, you could use it. A lot of people use hacksaws and they don't actually know how to use them to the full potential. So I'm just going to give you a few pointers on how to use one of these. Whenever you use one, it's a good idea to wear some safety gloves and a pair of safety glasses. If we take a look at the hacksaw, we have a pin on that end and a pin on that end where the blade locates. On this particular model, we have a thumb turn screw which actually tensions the blade. If you look at the blade there, you'll see that it says 32 TPI, that is teeth per inch. Here I have another blade, which is 24 teeth per inch. The thinner the material you are cutting, the more teeth per inch you need. It cuts a lot better if you have more teeth touching the actual material that you're cutting. There are different quality blades available, so you're always better off getting a decent make of blade. If you get a really cheap one, you may struggle cutting your material. So before you can use the hacksaw, you need to put the blade in the correct way around. So we need to look at the teeth. And if you look at the teeth on that, you can see that they are pointing forwards. So when you come to fit a new blade, you need to ensure that the teeth on that are also pointing forwards, because an hacksaw only actually cuts on the forward stroke, it doesn't cut on the backward stroke. So to remove the blade or replace the blade, you need to unscrew the tensioning nut at that side. And then lift off the blade. And then check the direction of the teeth on the new blade, and you can fit your new blade, and then tension the blade again. When you come to tension it, you need the blade tight, but you don't want it too tight that it snaps. So I'm just tightening the thumb screw now, and that blade is now pretty tight in there, which is what you want. If you have it too loose, you can't cut straight with it. Once you've finished using your hacksaw, it's a good idea to slacken that nut off a couple of turns so the blade isn't under tension when you put it away. That way your blade will last as long as possible. So I'll just remove this blade, and I'll just show you something else that you can do with most hacksaws. This particular one has a screw there. A lot of hacksaws don't actually have this screw. You can just lift this part of the hacksaw straight off. So to lift that off, you can see that I've used the top part of the hacksaw to store some new blades. That way, if you're going anywhere, you've always got a spare blade on you. So you can always store spare blades in the top of most hacksaws. If you look on this side of the hacksaw, you'll see that there are 2 more pins. And we can locate the blade on those pins if we want, and then we can tension the blade again. Fitting the blade in that position is a good idea if you need to cut off something that's close to a wall or an object. If you fit the blade perfectly straight there, you can't get in because of your actual knuckles. But if you put the blade in the other position, you can get in there quite close to that, and you could actually cut that off, and your knuckles are a considerable distance away from the actual surface. So that's the advantage of being able to set the blade in the other position. We are now going to cut this piece of 20mm square steel bar. When you come to using your hacksaw, it's important that you hold it with 2 hands. And it's important that you're comfortable when you're sawing as well. So when you're sawing, it's important that you get big, long strokes. You don't want to be doing small strokes like that, just using a portion of the blade. It's important that you use as much of the blade as possible. That way you will get the most value out of your blade. One thing you'll find is that if your blade actually snaps and you come to put another blade in, it's extremely difficult getting your blade down the existing cut. That's because as you use an hacksaw blade, it actually wears thinner. So once you get to the end of the life, they do tend to snap, and then you need to fit a new blade. Also, it's important to get the actual cut line close to the vise. If you're a long way away from the vise, you get a lot of vibration and you can't cut properly. It'll take you forever. So I've not actually put a cut line on this. I'm just going to saw it off anywhere. So I'm going to start off by applying light pressure and pushing forwards. And we've now started a cut. Another thing you can do with an hacksaw is to turn the blade upside down. If you imagine this piece of pipe of being up close to a ceiling and you want to cut it, if you cut up that way, it's a bad idea because eventually your blade will get trapped, plus you're actually taking the weight of the hacksaw. So if we turn the blade upside down and make sure the teeth are pointing the correct way, then tension the blade, you could then use the hacksaw like that. And in that position, you're actually cutting downwards, so you're not taking the weight of the hacksaw. And also, there's less chance of the blade actually being pinched as you cut through. And when you've finished using your hacksaw, don't forget to release the tension on the blade.
All right, good. So once again, the hacksaw, it's used by many of the trades. It's not just used by anyone. And hopefully the couple pointers that you may have walked away with there, with a hacksaw, the blade always has to face forward, right? The teeth are facing forward. And you always have to have it secured before you try to cut it. You can't hold it in your hand. If you do, you're going to have lots of trouble. And I'll tell you, he did mention it, and he showed you a little bit, but when you start with a hacksaw, when you first start cutting it, right, you're getting what's called a kerf, and a kerf is just a very thin slice, right? Just a very thin. You have to go really slow in the beginning with a hacksaw, very slow, and then once you get it, then you can start really sawing it. But listen, it's not a power tool, and it doesn't cause a lot of injuries. But a friend of mine, he had to go to the hospital over a hacksaw. So they are still dangerous. So you guys have any questions? Any questions at all? Any questions about falls or? Hey, Teresa, you got anything you want to add? Abby?
Yeah, so you guys, what did you think about like the layout of this club? What we're thinking is that we'll hear from Mr. Joe, because as we all know, he has a ton of knowledge on construction and has helped out with a ton of stuff around school as well as like projects at his house and everywhere else, I'm sure. So, you know, it's a really great resource for us to have. And we're thinking, since he knows how to use the tools, it would be good to like hear from him about what kind of tools you guys should be learning about, if this is something you're going to have a base knowledge in, and then also discussing like safety protocol. But we want to hear from you guys too, and what you're interested in pursuing in terms of construction. I know some of you guys know, like especially the interior creations people, these kind of tools will be stuff that you're using every day in that internship and future ones. So what are you guys thinking?
I get what they saying. Yeah, I get what they're saying in the video. I get what you're saying about the safety hazards. Basically, most of it's pretty much common sense. But I mean, people could probably easily forget about some of this stuff, and that's why they probably get injured. But yeah.
Yeah, just like how Mr. Joe said, they get complacent. You kind of get used to just going through the motions, and then
get careless and then get injured.
Get careless. Yeah, exactly. Alex, did you have something you wanted to add?
No. I basically, like, because I went to BASBOM, I did all my OSHA certificates and stuff like that already. So I basically know about safety.
How many hours did it take you to complete that stuff?
Like, I think it took me about like 2-3 days.
Okay. Yes, you, I think, could be a good resource for us too, just to talk about your experience, because you also worked in a factory setting, so you worked with this stuff hands-on on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, I worked like I worked with saws, drills. I actually got my hand caught in a drill, but.
Were you following your OSHA then, or no?
Yeah, it was, the drill just got caught to my safety glove, and then it pulled it.
Damn.
But you're okay. I know you have 2 hands, so that one worked out.
Just
Okay.
a little Band-Aid.
Yeah, that's good. Riley, how about you?
What's up?
How about you? Like, what are you? Did you enjoy today's session? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I didn't know, like, because I didn't do it last week or weeks before, so I didn't really know what's going on. But, like, coming and watching a video today, I got an understanding of, like, what the class is mainly about.
Yeah.
So I like it. I'll definitely be back for sure.
Okay, good. Yeah, and we're thinking that these meetings will probably be every 2 weeks. Thursday afternoons work well for Mr. Joe, so we might have to like adjust the time a little bit just based on the class's Zoom schedule, but when it'll likely be, unless Mr. Joe's schedule changes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anything else? Let's think. If you guys did like today's club, we're more than happy to have some more members. So spread the word that this is what we'll be talking about. The kids who are in this club, it's definitely going to lead to
I have a
shifts
question,
for them in the
but it's
future.
off topic.
What you got, Leah? Go ahead. You can ask it.
Okay. Hello?
Hello? I think you're
And
frozen.
she
Yes, I
asked
think
if if you've heard from Jefferson.
I haven't. I emailed them. They didn't email me back, but I'll follow up again. I know you want the certificate. Yeah, I have it in my calendar to follow up with them again, so I will.
Okay.
Was it just about the certificate, the question?
Yeah, but like they didn't say nothing about it, but they emailed me asking me to do a survey.
Oh. Well, did you take the survey?
So I just.
No, this is a good lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
Because Leah, what happened is that Leah and some other students were involved in a program for Jefferson, and it was like a 11-week program, and they made it to week 8 or 9, and then the whole world shut down, and they were supposed to get certificates and have a party and everything. So Leah's asking if they'll still qualify to get a certificate, which I think that you guys would. So in their survey, in a typical survey you take, one of the last questions will be like, do you have any feedback for us for this program, blah, blah. So what Leah might have to say, like, and if you want to send me the link to the survey or just like a screenshot of what it looks like, I can help you write it. But what you'll want to say is, I really enjoyed the program, but since it ended so abruptly, we didn't receive our certificates, and I'm waiting on communication regarding that because I worked hard in this program and, I think I earned the certificate. That's my answer. I think that's a good one. Any other questions about Construction Club? Michael Sabatino, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did you like the club today?
Yes.
And just for the Interior Creations kids, we're following up with them again this week in talks about getting that virtual paid work experience off the ground. There's also, since you guys are in Construction Club, just so you know, we're talking about properties, about getting a paid work experience with them off the ground on the week of May 11th. Like, it's 2 weeks from now is our targeted start date. So if any of you are interested in that at all, How Properties is, they do construction, real estate, and property management in and around Philadelphia. They're a great company. The way that paid work experience would look is that it would be virtual, kind of like what we're doing here, where you would be on a meeting. There would be a couple people from their organization who talk to you guys about different things that they do in their jobs. And you might have to do like a little bit of work outside of the actual meeting times, but not a lot, and we'll be able to pay you for your time in and outside of the meeting. You just have to fill out your timesheets and get them signed. So if you're interested, please email me or even let me know right now, and I can put you on the list, okay?
I'm interested.
Great. Awesome, Michael Sabatino. I'm writing it down. Anybody else, let me know. Mr. Joe, I think we're good. Abby, are you good?
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay,
All right.
cool.
Well, listen, I want all of you to stay safe. All right. Stay safe.
You
And
too. Thanks.
I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. All right.
You
Thank you
too.
so
Be
much.
safe.
You.
We really
All right.
appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Ah.
Bye.
Bye.